One question you might have is, what is so attractive about the gospel of Jesus Christ? Well, as I've been teaching, there's multiple things that are attractive about the gospel, but power is definitely one of those. And so the question is, how do we see that power and in what ways do we see power? Because certainly we have ideas of what we want power to be in our own mind. Well, I look at Matthew 16 and I see power taking place in two forms in the person of Peter. And it happens from power of the Spirit, but then also power of the enemy, power of Satan. So Jesus is talking to his disciples and he says, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" He's referring to himself, the Son of Man. And they say, "Oh, they think you're a prophet. They think you're just kind of a great teacher," which we hear that nowadays a lot. But then he turns to his disciples and he says, "Who do you say that I am?" And Peter, just almost dumbfounded, seems humble and surrendered, says, "You're the Christ. You are the Messiah. You are the Son of the living God." Now, this statement, it would have been blasphemous to have said something like that in that era. But having lived with Jesus, having walked side by side, seen everything that he's done, been with him through day in and day out, the only conclusion that Peter could come to is that you're the Son of the living God. You are God. You are Christ the Messiah. And Jesus affirms that in him. Jesus says, yes, it's only by the Father, by the power of the Spirit, that you know this. So the power of Spirit was working through humble Peter to make this profession of faith. Well, we go a little bit further in Matthew 16 and we see Peter just kind of abandoned that idea. So Jesus is talking about being crucified, being buried, and then resurrecting on the third day. And Peter, in his boldness, in his pride, steps up and says, "Never going to happen." It's almost like over my dead body is this going to take place. And Jesus kind of pulls him aside and gives him a little coming to Jesus meeting and says to him, "Get behind me, Satan. Why would you stand in my way?" You see, Peter had stopped living with the power of the Spirit to use the power within his words and started going under the power of his flesh. He wanted to make this happen. He wanted to protect Jesus. It came from this great place, but it was of the enemy. It was of evil. So think about this in your own life. When you're trying to assert your own agenda, when you're trying to take control with your own pride, with your own aspects of your life that you want to see accomplished, what is it that Spirit is trying to do? Stop, pause for a second and say, I'm just going to listen to the Spirit, and then I'm going to go under his power and see what he has for me, not my own, but his will be done.